Somebody's got to make this video, and I guess it's got to be me. I'm not looking forward to it because it's just going to sound like a bunch of whining. But, you know, you got to go with what you're good at. So, to start off, this is a list of things that I have relied upon for 20 years. And they've all just dropped dead. I think COVID killed them. Number one is testers. Testers made polyscale. Testers made Model Master Acryl. They got out of the paint business. Now, why should that bother me? Why don't I just go get some more paint? Well, the fact is, my whole approach to building models, plastic model, airplane kits, is based around the idea that if you get the right paint, the right tools, you're 90% of the way there. You get the right brand of paint, thin it properly, make sure it's in usable condition. Get the right kind of brush, you're home free. You don't have to be a genius or a magician or an artist to make this work. You just have to have the right stuff. So it stings a bit when some SOB yanks it off the market. Let's go on to item 2. Testers is no longer with us. They're gone. They're dead. Not just camel hair brushes. If you like brushes that were ever, have hair in them that was ever attached to some cutie wootie, you're in trouble, my friend. Now, I never would have known that there was an animal rights problem involving the paintbrushes if I hadn't started doing this channel and did a little research into it. It just wouldn't have occurred to me. And I'm not just talking about camel hair. I'm talking about, because camel hair, after all, is just a descriptor. These things are probably made out of pony hair. I don't know why I find that funny, but, you know. Okay, pony hair, goat hair. I'm starting to see more and more online where pony hair is being referred to, horse hair, goat hair, even squirrel hair. These are all things which are actually being described. I can't say that I've been able to figure out exactly how to buy brushes online, though. I recently purchased a couple of brushes online, and they were pony hair brushes. The trouble is, if you can't see the brush, if you can't do this, you don't know what you're buying. I mean, this brush, the density of the bristles on the brush means something. It's important. Even though this is an El Cheapo brush from guy, who knows where, Bucktunistan or someplace. It's a good brush. Not because I looked at the handle and figured out how much it cost, but because I looked at the business end and figured out whether it was any good or not. That's all you have to do. But if you can't put your hands on the brush, you got to buy it online, there's a problem. What do I recommend? Well, in general, let's go back up to testers for a second. I like Golden So Flat as a replacement paint. Not as crazy about Vallejo. Vallejo has done a lot of work to make their paint better, but it stinks. No, smell good. Muy malo, as we would say. I can't even begin to describe the smell. I mean, Tamiya paint smells like Jose Cuervo. And if you don't know Jose, well, you go down and sniff him. A replacement for this kind of paint just doesn't exist, really. But there are some very good paints out there. My personal favorite right now is Golden So Flat. There are other good paints, but nothing that really replaces the tester's products. Now about the brushes, I would recommend that you get a brush, this red sable. An individual brush should cost you $5 to $10. That's a lot of money to spend for a brush. If you can figure out a way to do it cheaper, great. I know there are people that spend $20 or $30 on a brush, but they better be making an income off their painting, okay? That's my opinion. But if you can get it for under $10 and it's a sable brush, it's not quite as good as these pony slash whatever they are brushes. Not as good, but almost as good, and it's okay. It's acceptable. The camel hair brushes, that whole thing with the pony brushes, the pony hair, the goat hair, everything is sort of beginning to slide downhill. And what I mean by that is that you can't buy a brush sight unseen that's sold as a cheap brush and expect it to be any good. It just doesn't happen. If you can inspect it in person, it's okay. Otherwise, forget it. You're much better off going with a more expensive red sable. And I don't even want to get started on that subject, but just it's whatever it's called, red sable, fine. They work. Except for those terrible Humbrol brushes from a few years ago. Those things were awful. All right, let's move on to the third item that we'll never see again. Future Clear. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the stuff, the magical elixir. Okay, this stuff. Future Shine, floor finish. This is an old one. That stuff. I'm not saying that there isn't a replacement. I'm starting to wonder it. I mean, I'm really happy with this stuff. Holloway House Quick Shine. This isn't a bottle that we actually used on our floors. But I've got a little bit of it that I use for model building, and I've been testing it, and it seems to work really well. But it's different. It's not the same thing. The original product that was so wonderful is gone. It's not kind of gone. It's not a little bit gone. It's been discontinued. They no longer make it. What the hell? Okay, last but not least, I just discovered that my man, Vallejo, they didn't just reformulate it, they ruined it. I mean, this was a new formula when I bought this. This is still pretty much okay. This is several years old. Brand new bottle I just got. I think it's awful. Is there a replacement? Maybe. I painted this little P36 with Galer and Rowney silver ink. Seemed to work pretty good. It's not perfect. It reactivates a little bit. When I painted over the old Vallejo metal color, it did not reactivate. This tends to reactivate. That's a big problem. If you get carried away, like I painted this anti-glare panel, if you paint that anti-glare panel and you get carried away with your brushing and you just keep stroking away, you're not going to have a good time. Okay. These are all, ladies and gentlemen, major items on my list. You got your testers? No, dead. How about a camel hair brush? Nope, gone. Future? Well, maybe you still might be able to get camel hair, but it's a trick. It's a job. Future? Not available. $50 for a bottle or some crazy thing. Maybe more. Metal color? You may like it. I don't. All of these are part of history. I have been wrestling with my inner child, and let me tell you something, I can kick his ass. Because he's so much littler than me. my inner child said, why even bother with this? I mean, your techniques, your methods, all you're doing is putting on the anachronism show. It's like Uncle Dan's How We Used to Build Model Airplane Kits show. That might be fun, but I can't get behind that. I can't get into that. On the other hand, let's say, just for fun, that I can find some suitable replacements. We got the Holloway House Quick Shine for future. Maybe I can use the silver ink. It's so far so good, on this guy. Camel hair, well, I've got enough brushes to last me for a while, but hey, maybe I can just go ahead and, if I absolutely have to, I can buy a red sable brush. And the fact that you can get these brushes at all is truly weird. But there's no way that I am switching over to those miserable synthetic plastic brushes. Forget it. The reason they spend so much time washing those brushes and cleaning those brushes is that they're awful. They're awful to clean. You take one of these natural hair brushes, bam, clean it, hold it under running water. Running water, clean it, no problem. Clean one of those things, you've got to get detergent on them and get the acrylic paint out. It has an affinity for the plastic bristles. Okay, simple. Testers. I hope I don't get a strike for that musical number. All right, take care of yourself. I promise next time no more complaining. I'll be showing you something about doing these cool pencil lines. The pencil lines for panel lines. All right. See you soon.